Today's episode is brought to you by Schick, because Gillette is for Mitches. So last time you guys saw this pistol, I was doing an introduction video and just kind of talking about the details of it. But I actually got this guy, the GSG Firefly, out to the range and had put about 250 rounds through it. So as I had explained, I'm gonna keep you guys in the loop and along for the ride with me as we check this pistol out on the journey. So I have yet to clean this guy. It's still really dirty, but I'm gonna get that cleaned up after the video. Took it out the other day and put about 250 rounds through it. CCI mini mags is what I was shooting out of it, and I had two different mags that we were shooting. The one that it came with, which I had labeled, scratched a 1 on there so I could tell, and then also this other one that I had purchased elsewhere. Now, like I said, I'm going to let you know about the good, the bad, the ugly. I got it out there and it shot excellent. For instance, it was shooting, when I first took it out, I just figured I'd start it out and make sure that it is sighted in, because if you look at this guy on the back, it does have the adjustable sights on the back here. So I was able to drift those guys over. It was shooting slightly to the right, but got this guy sighted in pretty good. And I started shooting here and I was seeing it was shooting down left. Went down here, still shooting left. And up here, did a little bit of adjustment, got it to there. And then eventually got this guy. So it's shooting just a little bit low, about maybe an inch low, but drifted it over, might fine tune it. But I'm pretty happy with this guy, because on this guy, this was a 5-shot group. You know, those guys kind of stacked on top of each other. It's about a 1-inch group. And this was after I sighted it in, and it was about 7 yards. So not too far, but really happy with the accuracy. So it's very accurate. It has that fixed barrel. So that's going to definitely improve the accuracy versus a floating barrel. And so it was great in that department. Extremely accurate. The whole time I was shooting at 8-inch plates. And even from a decent distance, it was landing shots pretty good on those plates. Now, as far as another main thing in accuracy and reliability and durability, obviously I got this as a plinker. It's not a defense weapon in any manner, or I wouldn't necessarily suggest it, but for plinking and practicing purposes, it's awesome. And I was able to practice in all sorts of ways, good and bad, because of it. So it did have some issues. Let's see, it had some failure to ejects, failure to completely even try to feed, which I think may be magazine related. I'll go into that in a second. And then it did had some blockages trying to feed, but complete failures. So I did have some failures also on the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard, and I realized after 150, 200 rounds or so, I need to clean the mags on that gun, or else the springs, I guess with the grit and the dirt that gets in there, and with this being a 22, I could see it too, the dirt gets in there and maybe it causes issues. Now this was doing it pretty much right off the bat. I think it's one of these magazines, because it wouldn't even attempt to feed around. It would pretty much just go in there, and that's what you would get, is it would not try to pick one up. I think that might be the mag follower getting caught up on one of these, and I didn't pay attention. So I will next time, and we're going to find out if it's the magazine or if it's the pistol, because I think what may have been happening, because looking back at the footage when I was doing both magazines on each shot, I would see one magazine fail and the other would feed flawless. So I think it is a magazine issue on that. Now, as far as failure to ejects, also, I want to note this gun did come with 2 recoil springs. Maybe it's the recoil spring, I got to swap that out. Maybe it's just getting broken in. It's only 250 rounds, so we're going to see. I just want to kind of give you guys an update. It wasn't 100%. Now, out of that 250, it wasn't a whole lot of failures. I think I had maybe 10 at the most, which is a lot. That's a lot of failures for 250, but it wasn't all, you know, in the same, in both magazines. It would be like maybe 1 out of every 3 magazines would have an issue. So we'll see. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna rip these guys apart, clean them up, clean the gun real good, lube it up. Maybe see if there's any burrs or anything in these mags, especially the aftermarket or the other mag I bought from a source that I'm not positive about. So we're gonna see going forward, and hopefully get those issues resolved and get some better results. But all in all, it was an excellent pistol. It's very fun to shoot, guys. It's extremely fun to shoot, and now that I think about it, this is my first 22 pistol that I've like full size that I've owned. I got that small NAA Mini, which is a fun kind of novelty but good backup deep concealment pistol. But I got this guy, and I realized this is the first 22, so great for practice, low recoil, great for new shooters, and you guys know all that. But this is just the first 250 rounds out of it. Did shoot very well. You know, recoil is almost obsolete. You know, you could tell in the footage. As far as the trigger, I realized in the first episode on this series that I didn't talk about the trigger on it. So it is a double action, single action pistol. It does have a magazine safety, so I'm not a fan of those, but if the magazine is not inserted, the gun will not fire. And it comes with this like faux bullet that I got in there. It's like a snap cap, so it'll allow you to dry fire it too. So right now it will not let you, as much as you want, fire that pistol because of that. But with an empty magazine, it will. So we have that faux bullet in there. Right now it's single. Let's take it to double. I'll show you double. Double in the manual says that it's 12 pounds and the single action is 4 pounds, but what I've heard from everybody is it's more like 14 pounds and 7 pounds. So a big difference, and that's a heavy trigger. The Smith & Wesson Bodyguard's actually a 12-pound trigger, and I've gotten good with it, but it's long and deliberate and a long, heavy pull. So this guy is even heavier than that. In double action, single action, I found to be excellent. So we'll get into that, but let's see here. For double action, you got a little bit of take up before you start actually pulling the trigger, and it's just a long, deliberate draw, man. That thing, ooh, man, you get it there, you're like, oh my god, ugh. That is a lot. You almost got to like get your whole finger around it. Man, I don't even think I could shoot this. Look, oh man, that's hard to shoot just with the tip of your finger. But in single action, let's check out single action. So going to single, we got that guy, and it is it's pretty smooth in single. So here we go. You got some take up. You definitely got some take up in single, but then you hit a nice wall, and that's it. You know, there's no creep in that wall or nothing. You just hit a wall, and that's it. So good single action. I honestly didn't even notice any harshness in the trigger. I didn't even shoot it double action because I know how terrible the double action is. So it's just, I would shoot it only in single, but I'll do it later in the video just to see and show you what it does to those shots and how it could potentially pull your shots in double. I'm sure you all already know that, but yeah, that's kind of the breakdown of the single action. I would say I would shoot it single action only on this guy. And now with the safety, it will allow you to do this guy and actually work the trigger, but it's got a hammer wall block. I believe it will not let it that hammer slam down. I wouldn't do it with live ammunition, just for warning, but that's how the safety works. All right, so as you can tell, you know, it picked up a good amount of dirt. Now, I remember I was talking about that hump here on that guy from the feed ramp. Let's see, from like the feed ramp to the barrel right there. That guy right there. It didn't have any real issues. I don't think that impacted anything because I only had, I think, one failure to try to go in battery. The rest of the issues I was having, or maybe one or two, the rest were, it seemed to be mag related. So I think all in all, I'm going to have better results next time. We'll be able to narrow it down and figure out, was it the pistol, was it one of the magazines in particular. So I'm really excited to look forward to the rest of this, and you know, do one or two other videos and make a full actual video review video on this guy once we get maybe 500, maybe 1,000 rounds, probably 1,000 rounds since it's 22 out of this guy, and do a full 1,000 round review and go from there. So once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, staying along with this journey. It's always fun getting a new pistol. And I just wanted to give you my take and kind of keep you along for the ride if you're interested, and see how this guy performs. So I'm going to try to get out there in the next couple weeks and get this this little series on the Firefly done. But there's more stuff in the works too. So as always, like, subscribe, and share for more.